Hello, welcome to Module 118. This is all about content. Again, we're talking about our Daktronics Digital Signage Expertise Development Program. And this is a little bit about content creation, the tools available, the resources available, and how one goes about creating content for LCD-based digital signage systems. First of all, let's take a look at what's available in Venus Control Suite for training and learning more about creating content. So if we take a look at the Venus Control Suite onboarding site, the training site that is available to everybody and can be accessed from within Venus. So right here in the training section, if you click on that from within the Venus Launchpad, you get to this onboarding site. And so the onboarding site captures and has all kinds of great information about learning Venus. Venus Control Suite is our content management system and is where you would create content. So there are modules available for learning all about creating content. Right here on the masthead navigation, you see creating content, and you'll notice that there is all kinds of information and video resources available on how to create content. So if you look at some of this video assets that are available, it'll explain more about that. You can toggle through the different tabs here at the top, and it'll tell you about Web Editor, and we'll talk a little bit more about Web Editor here in a second. Talk to you a little bit about modules like Easy Drop Weather and how you build templates and some of the different feature kind of level stuff. A little bit about Layout Editor and how that's used to carve canvases up into different zones and different layouts to allow you to make use of the real estate on your display. Best practices, even there's even a section here on creating content for LED and the best practices there. LCD is a lot more straightforward. You're not dealing with odd screen sizes. You're mostly either going to be creating content for a landscape or a portrait 1080p, so 1920 by 1080 resolution, or 1080 by 1920 resolution, or at the upper end, possibly even 4K content. So you don't have to deal with all kinds of different pixel pitches and screen sizes and all that you have to be concerned with for LED. So that's a little bit about Venus and what's available in Venus. There's guides, there's different aspects. There's an LCD guide here as well, and you can download those and take a look at your leisure. Obviously, Faith Gustafson runs our training program for Venus Control Suite, and she can point you in the right direction for further training, or if you have a customer that requires training, obviously we have different programs associated with that, and lots of resources available there. So that's a little bit about the general sort of training and resources that are available for understanding Venus and content creation. Let me dive in a little bit into Venus itself and kind of give you a little preview of what we're talking about, maybe a little visual walkthrough of creating content for an LCD-based digital signage. I won't belabor this too much, but just to give you a quick preview. So Web Editor is our content creation tool. As you can see right there, it says create content. It basically hooks directly into the media library. The media library is our repository for in Venus, in the CMS, for all the assets that make up the different graphics content, and uses a tagging system for easy access to the content that you're interested in. So if I tag my assets as I bring them into the media suite, the media library, I can see here I created a tag called BH Sample, and that's the content that I created for this little demo. Brought these in from Photoshop and just kind of loaded in some stuff to play with here. And if we take a look at that, you see I have a number of components and a number of pieces here. I can go in and say, hey, you know what, let's try to create a presentation for an LCD digital sign that I have in my office here. So if I go in and I give it a quick name, we'll just call it V8 sample. I can go in and like I said, it's just going to be pretty standard resolution. We'll just choose, let's see, 1920 by 1080. I just have a regular HD display here. So 1920 by 1080. We continue there, and it launches me into Web Editor. I'm effectively in Web Editor, but I have quick access here to the media library through this icon, and then back to the Web Editor. So I can jump back and forth and see the different assets I have to work with. When I go and I try to create a graphic that I want to display on my digital sign, I'm gonna, I don't know, maybe we'll add some images here. And like I said, we use tagging to make that quick and easy to find the different components. Like I said, I tagged everything with a V8 sample here, and so let's choose the black look. So if I choose a black background, this happens to be a running video clip background. It's just going to give me a static preview of that here, so I have something to work with. Obviously, when I save this and then I publish it out to the media player and schedule this for playback, this video that's shown as a preview here would play as a running video clip. In this case, it's a looping background, so it would just continue to loop until I took the graphic off here. So I can add different aspects to this. Let's create a graphic out of this back. So I have the background. Let's put a panel over the top of that background. I don't know, maybe it looks something like that. Maybe there's a masthead or something to hold some text at the top. We'll insert that here, and maybe scooch this down a little bit so I have a kind of a graphic framework here to work with. We'll scooch it over. Continue adding the different components that I want to show. You know, you can see there's different flourishes and elements that I can add in here. Maybe I'll add a logo just to kind of round it out. We'll put he's a nice one. I like the hawk logo here. We'll stick him in there, and maybe he lives down here a little right. We'll just let him kind of live there. I have the ability to add text in, so obviously part of my graphics are going to be, text-based. So as usual, you want to go in, and I'm going to, kind of go down into the properties monitor here, or properties for this. Maybe I'll choose right off the bat. I'll make the text a color so I can see it. I can change fonts here. Let's say we like this font. Let's say we need it to be a little bit bigger. So choose something like that, maybe even a little bit bigger. I can mouse wheel up and kind of make that larger and scooch that wherever I need to. Let's call it left justified, scooch it over so he lives right here. And then I continue adding elements into my graphic. As you would expect, I can go in and move things around. I can select the different elements that I want to play with here and move things where they need to be, change colors obviously, and do whatever I need to do in terms of layout to make this graphic the way I want. Like we said, we can change fonts and sizes and all that very easily here. Justification and whatnot, I can copy paste and do all of that basic editing functions here to create a graphic. And then when I save this, I'll save it as a presentation, and I'll give it a name. I'll save it again, and then that graphic is available to schedule. So go back into the media library, and you can see now in my list of graphics that I previously had entered in here, I have my presentation, and that web presentation. I can see a thumbnail of it here, or I can open it up in Web Editor, back in Web Editor. So anyway, that is a little bit about how Web Editor works and how you create content for display. Obviously, Venus is the content management system, and we would go in and schedule this content from Venus Control Suite. I won't dive too much into the other aspects of this. There's, certainly the ability to hook up external data to the graphics that are here. So these text fields can be filled out or fulfilled by external data through Data Studio. There are different functions here, and there's web editor training available if you want to dive into that. There's slideshows and the ability to sort of create a sequence of events there that way. So let me just wrap this up by saying thank you very much for attending this module. And this is a little bit about content creation in Venus Control Suite. So good luck creating, and happy content.